What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. Let me remind you of an emotion that we all crave feeling: vindication. An inner voice that says, what if I show them? To shut down all the naysayers. Don't believe me, just watch. That whole energy. The underestimated underdog who triumphs against all odds. The David versus Goliath biblical story, where David was mocked and dismissed for being too small and inexperienced going up against the massive champion Goliath. How he proved himself against all odds. There are countless examples of this in all of the media that we watch. To the oldest of direct response ads selling piano lessons. They laughed at him as he walked up to the piano until he started playing. It's the premise of every Anatoly video that gets millions of views. The unassuming skinny powerlifter dressed as a cleaner who gets laughed at first, then outlifts the biggest guys in the room who have no choice then but to humble themselves and show him respect afterwards. Gotcha moments. Columbo, the detective who presents himself as an absent-minded and low in intelligence person who turns the tables and outsmarts everyone. The Rocky movies, highlighting a small-time boxer who proves himself with how much heart he has. The Karate Kid movies of a bullied kid who, under the guidance of a master, defeats his opponents. It's why the YouTube videos are titled, "They judged too fast until he started singing." I can keep going, but you get the idea. This is a fundamental human emotion, and it is no secret to the writers and makers of media. They know you crave this vindication, and they reinvigorate that spirit in you by giving you a vicarious flavor, a dose of it, through this content. So why am I trying to point it out and bring it to the forefront for acknowledgement? Because I want to encourage you to write your own story of vindication without parasocially getting your fix for it through someone else's content. Create your own story of vindication. There's a Goliath in your own life, metaphorically, that needs to be conquered. That inner voice that holds you back. The fears that make you feel small and unworthy. The mountain that seems too big for you to climb. Your own plight and your own storyline begging to be vindicated so it can be told. There is already a deep desire within you waiting to be liberated. There's either external naysayers or an internal voice that naysays you, that tells you that you are outmatched to what you are up against. There is a deep desire in you to show them what's up and what you are really about, to vindicate yourself and have the last laugh. Now, while I personally don't rely on the prove it energy inside me anymore, I truly believe that if you are trying to prove anything to others or even to yourself, that the desire from which that comes from is still hollow. It's still an empty space, a void that you are trying to fill from the proving of it, from having the last laugh. I would think that if you inquired even deeper into it, you would find that the void exists because of a general sense of unworthiness and I'm not good enoughness. And so instead of trying to have the last laugh, the energy would be better spent in trying to figure out why anyone laughing at you bothers you in the first place. What part of you is bothered by the doubters? And usually it's because they put into words or bring out and shine a light on what your own self doubts. And it's the scary voice inside of you that says, what if they are right? That deep sense of inferiority that you feel, that you can't shake. That's what is rubbed up against and hurts. And if you can figure out where that comes from, or to do the work on yourself and build up the competence in the domains you feel doubtful about, if instead of trying to use this energy and feed it from videos and shows, if you instead just question and inquire, what part of me is this filling? What part of me would be satisfied if I did have the last laugh? What exactly am I trying to vindicate in the first place? Why do I think it needs vindication? What do I think needs vindication? And how can I then give it to myself? What am I trying to prove to myself that isn't already perfect? Having said that, and while I try not to use this prove it energy, I think you're allowed to be flexible with whatever emotions are present, whatever desires are present, and use them in this season as a fuel to burn through the next level. This wanting the last laugh, the wanting to shut them up, the earning of your vindication through their approval, this is dirty fuel. It will burn fast and hot and leave behind residue that you will need to clean later. But if it's the only fuel you have right now, use it. Show them. Have the last laugh. But just know that you will get to a deeper understanding of this at some point, and that will require other, longer lasting, cleaner fuels to get you to the following levels. We all have a self-worth deficit. You are not alone in this. A not feeling good enough disease. And you probably have faces of people that come to your mind almost right away when you think of the doubters you want to shut up. It could be friends, coworkers, for many of us, even our own parents and siblings. But understand that this desire to prove them wrong is coming from a deeper hurt that they left you with. And for much of your life, you have probably internalized that voice as one of your own. And so what needs foundational reinforcement here is much deeper than the surface thing that you want to prove them wrong about. And once you lift heavier than them, make more money than them, be more popular than them, win more prizes than them, or whatever your flavor of proving it to them is, just know that you will graduate to another level of self-doubt. And you might be tempted to continue that same path upwards, proving yourself against the constantly changing faces at different levels. But in this, you will always be playing their game. What they consider valuable, what they consider worthy, that you then chase. So you must define what that is for you, what worth is for you, and how it requires no achievement, no earning, and no proving. And then you are free and source your energy from a completely different charge when you are really in charge. Internal fuel, intrinsic motivation, the real love of the game, despite the scorekeeping. And while you so desperately want to have the last laugh, the real ones laughing are those who opt out of the meaningless games and run their own race, set their own pace, and realize that the only real hearty laugh from deep within your gut comes from winning what no one else can win. No one else but you. I love you, family. Stay true always. I'll see you on the next show.